In this video, I will be sharing with you on how I achieved going camping for $250. But if you're new to this channel, my name is Wes and welcome to Backpacking Central, where we're all about backpacking, hiking, camping, survival, and more. Let's get into it. To start, I'm going to start out with the biggest item. It's the Kelty Lakota 65. If you want to check out a more detailed, in-depth review of this pack, you can go to my channel and look up the other video where I go through all the pockets and different places on where to store stuff. This I bought for $65 used on Letgo, and you can find many different deals. There's you don't have to get this specific pack, but for 65 bucks you can get a pretty decently sized comparable pack to this for your overnight camping trip. Then I'm going to move on to my underquilt that I got in a package deal. This is TRD, or Twisted Root Design. I'm not sure if you ever heard of them. I hadn't either, but I found a used deal on Letgo as well, where I got the underquilt, the tarp, the hammock with the mosquito bug net, as well as the straps and the stakes for the tarp for $45. So it's a nice deal. This is the underquilt. It goes underneath. I will do a video coming up about all this stuff together, the Twisted Root Design package here. This is a blue underquilt. It keeps me very warm. I've actually set it up. This is the tarp. It's a green tarp. It's very nice. I'll be setting it up in a future video. This is the camo hammock. I believe it holds 400 pounds, something like that. It's got a nice bug net over top that you can raise up above your head, and it's very comfortable. It's not as wide as my Eno double nest, which is nice because the Eno kind of flaps over on the end, but this is a nice hammock. And then the regular tree straps, they're pretty long. They you can stretch very far between two trees, and those are just two regular long metal tent stakes, but they're for the tarp on each side. Moving on to the sleeping bag. This is something I bought new. This is something I bought on Amazon. It's a Terra Hiker. I'll put all the links to the applicable stuff that I got on Amazon in the description, so you can go ahead and buy it. The only two used things were the backpack and the what I just talked about, the underquilt, hammock, tarp, and tree straps. This is a 45 degree, 8 Celsius for limit and 15 Celsius for comfort. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. I'll put it in here. It's for an adult up to 195 centimeters, which I'll also put in. I think that's 6'6", I believe. But this is a relatively thin sleeping bag. This will also be in my next video in terms of I'll put it in with my hammock and see what kind of temperature I can get. But with just this underquilt in the hammock, you can definitely feel the difference in terms of warmth, and I'm sure this would add. I'm sure you could get into the 40s, relatively easily with nothing else on in terms of in terms of crazy clothing. Moving on to the rain suit. This is pants and jacket. This is just a Frog Togs. This was like 12 bucks on Amazon. Just as a backup, putting in your pack in case it starts pouring rain on you. You have some protection in terms of the rain. That is some regular like coyote brown, I think is the color. Paracord, I got 100 feet of that for like $11 on Amazon. That's for whatever you need, corded shoe. I mean, it holds 550 pounds, so you could rappel down something if you really had to, or string up your tarp, or tie your food up in a tree, tie your food up in a tree. This is my little cooking setup, with the exception of some bug spray. This is a 100 DEET bug spray. I got this on Amazon. This was like $5 or something. This is my little cooking set here. This is a nice stainless steel pot. It's got a nice handle that unfolds here. You can boil your 2 cups of water in here for sanitation if you want, or for your backpacking meals. I get the Mountain House. I get the Mountain House meals. You can boil your 2 cups of water in here. I think this holds like 2 or 3. This is like 10 bucks on Amazon. And this is the Esbit stove. This is on Amazon as well. This was $12, I believe, or $13. It opens up like this. You set it on the ground, and these are the fuel capsules. It comes with 6 of them. With this, you can obviously buy more, and you light this with your lighter, which is another thing It was in my, I have 2 lighters, it was in the cup here. You put it in the bottom here in the little square, there's a place for it to rest, and you light it on fire, and you set it on top here, and you boil your water. It's pretty stable. And for bigger pots and pans and stuff, you can open this up, you know, for bigger stuff, obviously, that, you know, covers more area. This is, you know, nice, small, compact, lightweight, relatively cheap, you know, 13, you know, all this for 25 bucks. You know, on Amazon, you can put it all in here in a nice little compact package. You know, these lighters, if you don't have one laying around, they're like $1 a piece or something at the store. But that's my cooking kit. In addition to the cooking kit, moving on, this is the Alpha Seed to Summit Long Spork. You know what a spork is? You know, it's long handle to get into those backpacking meals. It's you know, lightweight, and you can clip it to the outside of your pack if you really wanted to, which I don't. I can put it inside, you know, the zippered pouch, which is nice, you know, for eating any kind of food. These 2 things I thought would be, you know, important to bring along. These are Ziploc bags for, you know, food trash, for, you know, restroom trash, for, you know, trash you find on the trail, anything you want to kind of keep in a little bag. This is 2 big ones, two gallon-sized Ziplocs, 2 sandwich-sized Ziplocs, and 2 of the small ones, all rolled up into a rubber band, which you could also use for stuff. And then this is 2 contractor, I think it's 55-gallon trash bags. They're not as thick as I wanted them to be. I need to get thicker ones. These I didn't include in the budget of my $250, which, you know, they'd only be a couple bucks anyways. I'm sure you know, you have these laying around, and if you don't, they'd be useful for all other kinds of stuff. You could use these to lay on the ground for cover. You could lay this underneath your hammock for something to, you know, something dry to step on in the morning, or, you know, in a pinch, if you got to lay on the ground and your hammock doesn't work, you know, you can fill this with leaves and other debris and stuff as an insulation to the ground to sleep on if you really had to. Then moving on, these are self-explanatory. Toilet paper, wipes, I think you know what these are used for. I just smushed it and put it in the bag to kind of keep it, you know, suck the air out and kind of keep it, you know, somewhat compact. You don't need to bring a full roll. I actually probably have too much here anyways for even several days, or even a week probably. You know, you can make this smaller, obviously, but, you know, this doesn't weigh much. And you probably have these, didn't include these in the budget either, you probably have these lying around because you use them, obviously, every day. This, again, not included, but I'm sure you have a hat or a cap of some sort that you use that you could throw in for warmth on a cold night. You can put it on your head to keep you warm or to block the shade. I know this isn't a cap, but, you know, a cap would block the sun out of your, you know, your eyes. Moving on to first aid. This is another thing I bought on Amazon. You know, I have a rubber band. This is the Coleman Family First Aid Kit. This was like 10 bucks or something. It's got sting relief, wipes, bandages, gauze pads, ointment, safety pins, you know, all that stuff. You can look at what it comes in. You can look at the link on Amazon. It's also got the sterile gloves and stuff. You know, just basic medical. You know, nothing crazy, but, you know, you want to have at least something. You know, if you fall down, you scrape yourself, something like that. Doesn't weigh a ton. The metal case weighs more, but it's nice and, you know, robust. Then this is a nice Mora knife. This was 10 bucks. This knife is super sharp. It comes with this nice sheath that you can strap to the outside of your pack or something like that. It snaps in here nice. It's not, you know, it's not coming out. It's pretty sturdy in there. You can hang this on something inside your pack or outside if you really want, you know, for cutting stuff, you know, whatever you know, self-defense in terms of animals or any, you know, thing like that. God forbid you have to do that. You know, I'd like, you know, it's important and I think essential to have at least some sort of, you know, fixed blade knife with you. Moving on to safety and protection in the same sort of category. This is an Olight headlamp. It's got 1 setting, 2 setting, 3 settings, and when it's on, you double tap it. That's what it is. It's got the red light for night mode, which is nice. That was something important when I was looking for it, you know, for night vision, which I never thought worked, or never really, you know, got it until I actually used it. When I went on my first backpacking trip, I had someone else's headlamp that has a red light, and it's actually, you know, gives you a good amount of, you know, sight in the dark without losing your night vision. Then you just press it again, and it's got the blinking red. And then, you know, you got your 1, 2, 3 modes. in terms of brightness. That's illumination. It's nice for hands-free stuff like that. And that was like 10 bucks on Amazon. This is another O light. This is the i3 EOS light. It's 10 bucks. It's a little twist-on light. This is, you know, a flashlight, not some super powerful, crazy light. I actually have another O light that's a pretty good size, but it's, you know, it's 40 bucks. So, you know, depending on, you know, what you want to spend your money, I'm trying to keep it within 250 bucks. But this is, you know, a nice little, just small little flashlight for kind of little small tasks. You're not going to be or night hiking, you know, doing some miles in the dark, so there's no need to do, you know, some crazy headlamp or some crazy flashlight or something like that. But, you know, just something in order for you to see stuff, you know, if you hear a noise or something like that. Also, you know, I got, this is the Acme Whistle. This is like 120 decibels. This was like 6 bucks on Amazon. Again, I'll put the link in the description. This is something, you know, for in terms of safety, if you need to make some noise, or, you know, in terms of an animal, you know, making some noise, you know, hey, I'm here, you know, go away. Bandana, you probably have one of these already, or at least a washcloth or something of that sort. These are like $3 or $4 or something. You can get all sorts of colors, all sorts of designs. They even have ones that have like survival and, you know, different sort of print on them, you know, in terms of reference for other stuff, you know, to wipe off the sweat, use it as a sling, you know, wipe off the blood, hold the blood in if you got some serious, you know, cut or scrape or something. But, you know, head cover, you can use this, you know, put it in the water and, you know, put it around your neck to cool off. You know, tons and tons and tons of reasons and ways to use that. I got a pen and a Sharpie. I'm sure you got one of these. It's just a regular pen, regular Sharpie. No, I didn't include these in the budget because you really don't necessarily need those, but, you know, if you got to write something down, and, you know, don't know if you necessarily need this, but it's just a post-it notes, you know, writing down, maybe setting a note or something like that. This is a Swiss Army knife. This is something I've had for years. This is, you know, got a knife, scissors, can opener, screwdriver. It did have a toothpick and tweezers, but as we know, you probably all lose those. I've had this for years. This kind of replaces the multi-tool. Don't have a multi-tool in here, although I could, but, you know, that's going to put you, you know, over the $250, which, you know, you can kind of pick and choose where you want to put. You know, it's also got a bottle opener. You know, pick and choose where you want to, you know, spend your money, but I'm sure most of you have at least a multi-tool or some sort of Swiss Army knife like this. This is kind of my extras bag. This is my, you know, contacts and, you know, vitamin C and, you know, some just miscellaneous medicine and stuff that, you know, just in case, which you don't necessarily have to take this. This is just extra batteries for the light, or for both of the lights. This is sunglasses. These were, I don't know, a couple bucks. These are just cheap, just generic, cheapo sunglasses, which I'm sure you have. If not, you can go buy some. And then we're getting to the extras category. So something like a battery. I guess I don't need this. Something like a cord and a battery bank, you know, battery charger to charge your phone up, you know, or charge some of the lights are actually USB. Or this isn't a USB, but, you know, you can bring another cord USB to recharge them and stuff like that. But, you know, if you want to bring this, if you're on a couple-day trip, you know, recharging your phone, you know, or if you have a watch, you know, that needs recharging or something, which I don't, but, you know, like the GPS watches, you know, for maps and stuff, or your phone, you know, for, you know, what, you know, assuming you have signal, which you don't always have, but, you know, this is something extra, as well as the Sawyer water filter. This is like about 20 bucks. So, you know, from $250 you go to $270, you know, if you want this. You know, it depends on where you're going, you know, what the temperature is, what season it is. You know, if you have access to water, which if you do, you know, you might want to bring this instead of carrying all your water. And obviously this whole setup doesn't include your clothes, which, you know, this isn't some serious, you know, hiking trip. You can go, you know, hike in whatever clothes you have or are wearing. Now, you know, it's not some, you know, I don't want you to go buy, you know, some $100 synthetic stuff and all this fancy stuff. This is kind of just to get your feet wet, and it's a very beginner friendly, you know, used gear, which, you know, some people don't necessarily agree with or are completely in favor of. And to prove this all fits inside this pack, I will now show you. But, you know, clothes don't include, it doesn't include food, which is any kind of food you would bring, whether that's, you know, more expensive-ish kind of dehydrated stuff, which is what I'm going for. They're like $6 or $7 a piece, so one meal, 2 meals, depending on when and how long you're going for. You can stash a couple of those, and then obviously water. Whether you want a water bladder is 20 or 30 bucks. Depending on what kind of brand name stuff you want to get. You want to get into, which I have one, but I didn't include it in here because you could obviously just do regular water bottles, which I'm sure you guys have. If not, you can go to Costco and buy like 40 of them for like $3. And I'm sure you use those for other things. So water, food, and clothes, stuff like that. But anyways, this is my beginner camping setup for $250. If you can let me know down in the comments questions or anything you have for me. And that is it for today's video. Peace.